Welcome to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano. Let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And we are here at the beautiful Il Tavolo Di Palmisano, located at 700 Clinton Street in the beautiful city of Hoboken, New Jersey. And it is even more beautiful today because they went all out with, I think it's like every single one of their brunch items. And joining us, and she hasn't been on in a while, so we've missed you, is our Places Insider, Jenna Piemonte. Oh, I gotta just do it all. Of At the Hungry Traveler. Jenna, welcome back.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I missed being here. I missed being with you guys.
Exactly, but this isn't your first time here,
This
correct?
is not my first time here. We were here before, and we tried a bunch of dinner dishes.
That's it. That's it. What do you love about brunch, by the way?
Oh, I really love waffles. I feel that they are just the best brunch dish.
Gotcha.
Really, I don't know. I love them. And the potatoes, the side of potatoes too.
All right.
If I'm gonna go for a side.
All right, I absolutely love it. All right, so we have a lot of dishes here.
Yes.
The Palmisano brothers really did wonders for us today to get over in this segment. It's going to be rapid fire for you to
Yeah.
just introduce everything.
Yeah, so let's do it. So we have the Italian grilled cheese here, which comes with a side of bread sauce and potatoes. We have a burrata burger, which just looks incredible, that balsamic glaze, chef's kiss. We have a side of bacon, short rib grilled cheese, which I can't wait to get into. I love a short rib grilled cheese. Pork loin sandwich with broccoli rabe, which, incredible. We have a fried chicken and sausage gravy topped with an egg, an Italian frittata with prosciutto and arugula, waffles, and traditional French toast.
Wow. Well, I guess we got through it very, very quickly. And I have to tell you, our crew behind the camera are salivating at the mouth.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're going to have you try, or at least try to
Yeah.
try, you like that, play on words? Each of these dishes. Maybe we have to start with the dish in front of
maybe
you,
we
and then
can
we'll
start
kind of
on the
maneuver
side here.
everything. Exactly. Repeat what we
see.
have in front
So
of
this
you.
is the Italian grilled cheese. It has mozzarella, it has Parmesan, provolone, and a side of red sauce. I'm really excited to get into this.
All right,
actually.
dig in there, and I'm going to kind of
Let's
like
see.
make some room. And by the way, folks, I mean, this just goes to show you that Il Tavolo Di Palmisano is more than just a place where you can come have a fabulous Italian dinner. Their brunch items take Italian dishes and put a spin on it. While Jenna chews.
That was
Talk to me.
so good. The bread is perfectly crispy. I love the sauce on the side. It's really nice to have something to dip in it because, you know, grilled cheese usually dip in tomato soup. This is dipping in red sauce. So good.
I guess that's why they make it an Italian grilled
Yeah,
cheese,
it's
correct?
Italian grilled cheese.
Exactly.
Perfect.
So we like to do this, and our other Places Insider are kind of like breaking Richter scales left and right here, but we're just going to do this out of 10. What do you rank the Italian grilled cheese out of 10?
Ooh, 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. I absolutely love it. All right, let's move on. Why don't you grab
Yeah.
that burger? I'm trying to help you out here, but I'm just getting in your way.
Let me get to that side.
I
You
was
can
going to
help me out.
say, exactly.
So we have the burrata burger here. We have roasted red peppers, prosciutto, burrata, and arugula topped with a balsamic glaze.
Oh my God, look at those roasted red
know.
peppers in there.
Really
So-
excited to get into this.
Oh yeah,
I
and look at
love
it. And we
burrata.
love how Jenna is
Gosh.
just going for it right now, right on camera here on the Pulse. Oh man,
Yeah,
I feel like that burrata just melted when you bit into that.
it really did. And like the burger's warm, the burrata's cool. It made it like a perfect mix.
Nice.
I really liked it.
All right, out of 10.
9.5.
9.5
I
out of
love
10.
burgers too, so like that's a good rating because
All
I'm
right.
I'm strict on the burgers.
Wow. All right, gotta come to Il Tavolo. I think we're gonna go with this bad boy
Should
because
we?
this is not a very, very common brunch dish in my opinion.
It's not. I mean, it's pork loin. It has broccoli rabe on top. There's some melted cheese. It looks delicious and it looks really crispy too.
Oh my God! And while you dig in there, it almost looks like when you go down to Philly, like those roast pork
Yes.
sandwich shops. And don't worry, You know, as long as we're not stabbing anybody on air.
No, I like this.
Oh, look at her dig in there, and with the broccoli rabe on top. Oh, that looks absolutely fabulous. It really, really does. By the way, I love how every dish comes with, from what I understand, hand-cut fries.
Yeah,
Isn't that awesome?
I should try one of the fries.
Yeah, exactly. But what do you think of the pork loin? And
It's
broccoli
really
rabe?
good.
Oh,
The pork
okay.
has really good flavor. The broccoli rabe has a really good garlicky flavor to it. I'm a big fan. Let's try these crispy potatoes.
Yeah? You can tell they're fresh, right?
They're fresh.
And no joke, I saw the guy actually making, we came here very early to film today, and I did see the guy making them in the back. So,
Yeah.
all right, this is something similar the next, out of 10.
Ooh, 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Love it. All right, I'm going to move this closer to me.
Thank you.
This is something similar to the Italian grilled cheese that you tried before, but it has short ribs, you said, right?
Yes, so it has short rib in it. I think it's provolone. I'm not actually.
Yeah, that's
But
okay.
Melted cheese. Let's taste it.
Let's go right in. Oh, and by the way, you could tell the short ribs is fall off the bone, and because it just literally I could almost tell that it melted in your mouth. Craziest thing.
Perfectly crisp. So good. The short rib fall apart. I really want another bite, actually.
Oh, that's allowed.
I know we have
we're
a
not
short
Dave
segment,
Portnoy here. You know what I'm saying?
But really good. 10 out of 10.
Wow.
I didn't even let you
alright.
ask me for the rating that time. I
No,
was
but
excited
see,
about
you
it.
know what you're doing. So now this looks so unique. What do we have here, Jenna?
So we have a frittata with prosciutto and arugula, tomatoes, burrata, and a balsamic glaze on top. It looks really good. I didn't expect it to come out in a circle. I thought it would be like flipped over, and I love this presentation. I'm happy it came out this way.
And that's what you get here while you try that dish at El Tavolo Di Palmisano. A lot of times, Jenna, and you know this, you're a foodie, a food influencer, as they say. You can go to places and the food looks good, but the taste is average. Here at El Tavolo, it looks good and tastes good, and that's very, very difficult.
That is really good.
And you're not even big an egg fan,
I'm not a huge egg fan. That's why I was like, my favorite thing is waffles. Not a huge egg fan, but this is actually really good. And I like you know that they made this specifically for you too, because it's in it's cooked in a dish, just like that.
Oh, there's like with the dish.
Yeah.
Right? Give me a rating.
8.5.
8.5.
But only just because I don't like eggs.
All right,
but
yeah,
very
no,
tasty.
It's tasty. All right, we're moving this guy down now, which is, you said chicken, correct?
Yes, we have a fried chicken with an egg on top and Italian sausage gravy.
Right.
It's a little.
Yeah. Oh.
You have to get that in there.
You have to. Oh, she knows what she's doing. At the Hungry Traveler, folks. By the way, you're killing it. While you try this, I just want to tell the audience how you're killing it out there. You know, over 20,000 followers on TikTok. I like to think it's the Pulse with Peter B that are, increasing your followers. And over 10,000 followers now on Instagram at the Hungry Traveler. Great job. What do you think?
This was really good. You really get the pepperiness from the gravy, and it's delicious. It's creamy. I love everything about it. I would definitely eat this again.
All right.
9 out of 10.
9 out.
I'm giving away a lot of 9s. But it's all really good, so you can't blame me.
Jenna is a very, very tough grader, so that's how you know the food is great here.
Strict.
Believe it or not, we're down to our last 2.
Wow.
And we're saving your favorite for last, obviously. But first, what do we have here?
We have a traditional French toast with some berries on top and whipped cream and a little bit of powdered sugar.
That's just like a typical
So
brunch,
good.
French toast type of dish, correct?
Yes. I love a classic.
Oh, man, amen.
That's really good.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get French toast and it's a little soggy. This is perfect.
And it's been sitting here for a few
Yeah,
minutes.
it's perfect. Yeah, that's good. It goes to show you, it is really cooked to perfection.
Right. And are you a big friend? If you had to pick
I do like
your
French
Okay, you do like French
I
toast.
do,
I feel
I
like it's
do.
similar to waffles. That's why,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know? Rating out of 10?
8.5.
All righty. Finally, the dish you've been waiting for, and I've had you waited long enough. What do you got here? Obviously,
We
the
have
same type of dish as the French
waffles.
toast. With
I'm
strawberries,
so excited.
blueberries.
Strawberries, blueberries, whipped cream, a little bit of powdered sugar, a traditional perfect waffle. I can already tell.
Dig in there. Yeah?
Yeah.
Like
It has the good crispy outside, the fluffy inside, great texture. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. All right. So now everybody was looking at this plate of bacon that's pile high over here. So I think the two of us, because everybody's like, oh, Peter never eats. Peter never eats.
Yeah, you
Why don't
never
we
eat.
each grab a piece of bacon? And I went in, and we do a little bit of a cheers there.
cheers.
You know?
Ooh.
Oh, don't worry about it. Huh. Oh,
Perfect.
talk to me about that.
So crispy. I love crispy bacon.
Mm.
Can't be not crispy. So good.
That is outstanding. Give me a rating on that.
8.5.
And I'm going to say 9.5 out of 10 on that one. I know. I had to give a Peter rating, right or wrong.
I love.
Well, Jenna Piemonte, you've tried all the brunch dishes now. Will you be coming back and recommending people to come to Il Tavolo di Palmisano for brunch?
100%. I'm already going to tell my friends that we should come back next weekend.
Amen to that. Exactly. It's so good to see you again.
Good to see
Jenna
you.
Piemonte, our Places Insider of at The Hungry Traveler. Make sure you follow her. We look forward to seeing you in a future episode.
Forward to seeing you too.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks again. All right, folks. Il Tavolo di Palmisano, again, located at 700 Clinton Street in Hoboken. We will be right back. Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, Don't forget to go on our Facebook and our Instagram pages by searching The Pulse with Peter B, and like and follow us on each of those platforms. We're constantly updating those pages with previews of each week's segments and cool stories. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our email address at thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com.
Welcome back. I'm your host with the most, Josh Sotomayor Einstein, on this segment of The Pulse with Peter B. Unfortunately, we don't have that bum Biancamano, Peter B. himself, with us. We have someone that is much better, my friend, Ron Simoncini, the Executive Director of the Hudson County Property Rights Coalition. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Sir, thank you.
So I know there's been a lot going on. There's a lot of rumors, a lot of news, but I know there was a recent development in Union City that has to do with property rights that maybe you could tell everybody about.
So for the second time in my tenure as Executive Director of Hudson County Property Rights Coalition, we've had an ordinance in Hudson County deemed unconstitutional as applied. The first was in Hoboken back in 2010. Charles Gormally was the attorney on that one. And Adrian Lepore was the attorney on this one. And what happened was Union City had been declaring instead of determining rent calculations. And they would tell the property owner, this is what the rent is based on a challenge by the tenant. And the property owner had no opportunity to defend themselves. And that in this country, Josh, is unconstitutional. You must have due process here, even in Union City, New Jersey. And a court said, oh, we're not going to allow that anymore, which I think is very portentous of things to come.
It sounds a lot like, sort of gangsterism. I'm going to tell you what you're able to get, and you don't have a choice.
Well, what they're trying to do there is to create this environment where property is actually city-owned rather than private property-owned. And the game that they played was, for years and years, they knew that the rental adjustments, let's say they were $300 or $400 a month, but the cost of appealing these bad decisions was $20,000. And so the city played this game. They won't appeal it because it doesn't make sense. But finally, we got some property owners who said, you know what? Enough is enough. Tactically, we have to stop this. Mm-hmm. Now, the ruling that we have now doesn't necessarily mean that every single ruling they ever did was unconstitutional, but it gives thousands, at least hundreds and probably thousands of units that had been determined to be overpaying rent. Those owners can come back and say, wait a minute, you couldn't just tell me what the rent was. You had to hold a hearing and you had to make it so that I had an opportunity to defend myself, and you never did that. And they had other problems with that ordinance. They ignored that they had vacancy decontrol for 20 years, and so all the calculations that they did, we talked about this on the show before, those calculations are wrong. So it's a mess there. It's been coming a long time. And you know where it's coming next?
Where?
Right here in Hoboken, New Jersey. Because they can't get it through their heads that we are going to stand up for our rights. And they're doing the same thing using Union City's playbook. We'll just decide what a rent should be. And you know what? If you don't like it, go ahead and appeal. Ha 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 ha.
Well,
very cute. It's very clever, but it's not going to last.
Well, rewinding 1 second, going back to the Union City. Let's say, for example, I'm a small landlord. I was railroaded in the past by the city, given a choice where the juice wasn't worth the squeeze to pursue my rights. But now, because of the Hudson County Property Rights Coalition, we have that ruling. What's my next step?
Well, we were friendly to that suit, but it was filed by 2 property owners. My next step now is to go through the appeal process and to bring a motion or bring an order that says, here's this precedent. I was the same set of facts as this set of facts. I want my hearing to be voided.
Very, very nice. Now, I know there is talk of goings-on in Jersey City when it comes to, the individual right we all know as property rights. Could you speak to that?
So Jersey City actually passed an ordinance that we really didn't like. We complained about several aspects of the ordinance. They said, we'll amend it. We only had 45 days with which to appeal that in court. Otherwise, we lost our right to appeal. But Jersey City's doing the right thing. They did come back and they did amend the ordinance. And one of the 2 areas where we felt as though they needed to, we're talking about the other. I think that we're going to get satisfaction there. You couldn't complain about what happened in Jersey City. They passed an ordinance that they thought was right. It wasn't right. They recognized it wasn't right when they passed it. I don't know why they felt they were under that time pressure to do so, but they did come back and amend it in a way that was sensitive to property owners. I think we can get the rest of the way there with them. And, it shows the difference between a Jersey City and a Hoboken or a Union City, where there's a totalitarian government. I think Steve runs a great government in Jersey City. I always have. We certainly didn't sue them acrimoniously. We sued because otherwise we didn't have a right to assert what we thought was an unconstitutional moment. They're correcting it. I think that'll turn out well.
Well, let's find out more about what is in this ordinance that they were talking about when we come back from commercial break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome to Hudson River Care and Counseling. Hello, I'm Dr. Pam Pater-Ennis, the CEO and founder of Hudson River Care and Counseling with over 30 years of clinical social work experience and therapy. We are a progressive counseling and coaching practice with a diverse team that brings a holistic approach to clients. We offer support both in person and through digital platforms such as telehealth. Consider us a safe haven that you can trust with care for your mental health needs. Visit our website to set up a consultation today.
Welcome back. I'm Josh Einstein, your host with the most on this segment of the Pulse with Peter B. And I'm so glad that Ron Simoncini, Executive Director of the Hudson County Property Rights Coalition, didn't run away. And in fact, before we went to commercial break, what we were talking about is an ordinance in Jersey City and where the Jersey City government was open to criticism and willing to work with opponents.
Yeah, I think that they recognize that the fastest way to help a tenant who's in temporary trouble or interim trouble is to pay their rent and not to buy an attorney for them whose job is to extend out judicial proceedings. We don't want to lose the tenant. If the tenant's going to be able to pay their rent sometime in the future, just stopgap them and pay their rent temporarily, let them get back on their feet, and everything works out better. So those eviction proceedings, which I think, are pretty orderly in court now, and I think those tenants have legal representation available to them at discounted or free rates when they get into trouble. This ordinance will help them now because it will allow them to access monies that the city's collecting from developers in order to potentially underwrite rents and other issues. We don't love the ordinance, but listen, this is a place where you have to be sensitive to the fact that there's so many voices. They have such a broad spectrum that they're talking about that we're not going to get everything we want all the time. And again, we're pleased with what's going on in Jersey City.
Now, before we had our commercial break, and before we talked about Jersey City, but after we talked about Union City, or while we were talking about Union City, you mentioned something about Hoboken. So I have to ask for our viewers out there and everyone there on the internet and in TV lands, if the rumors are true, that the Mile Square Taxpayers Association will be pushing a referendum in order to change rent control in Hoboken.
So we've been on this program a couple of times on what's happening in the Hoboken Rent Control Board and in Hoboken's council. And they've really left us no other route except for through the voter to get satisfaction there. They're ignoring that their rent control board is out of control, ignoring their own ordinances, conflict of interest, stimulating tenant complaints, and then hearing the complaints. If I ever saw anything like that anywhere else, I can't remember it. So we got to straighten that out. The administration has shown no willingness to get their people who they appoint to these boards under control. They're ignoring the advice of the city's attorneys, making these determinations and causing all kinds of mischief and havoc for our clients. And it's unfair. It's at its base unfair. Follow the rule of law. And then if we all disagree, we can always appeal later. But when you're so cynical that all you try to do is undermine the rights of the property owner at any cost, just because you want to pander to a tenant who has no right to expect that they're going to get relief, that's wrong. And so as open as we are to the idea that we should be supporting affordable housing, that we have to live by the rules as landlords ourselves, the Rent Control Board has to live by the rules too, and they determinedly do not.
So we only have about 30 seconds left, but in your conceptualization of it, what is a good addition or alternative to rent control when it comes to affordable housing in our cities and our towns across this great country.
So if in fact you are trying to create affordable housing or preserve affordable housing, we know that the way to do it is not by assuring that people coming in from New York who make $200,000 a year get a discounted rent. That's not affordable housing. And that's what's happening in Hoboken. The law is permitting that to happen. There's no reason for that to happen. That deprives our historic owners, the building that we're in, for example. Why on earth should I not have the resources to fix up this building, and instead I have to have somebody come in from New York, get a discounted rent here? It doesn't make any sense. The law has to apply itself so that it creates affordable housing. It actually has an opportunity to create something that somebody who needs a subsidy can live in. Do you know how much money the Hoboken Affordable Housing Trust Fund has distributed to creating housing?
No idea.
$0. It's only paid attorneys. How can you have a trust fund that's supposed to create affordable housing that does nothing except for pay attorneys with the money? We think that our referendum, if we do it, will address that situation. I'm not certain that there's going to be a referendum, but we need to engage the voters because the council and the mayor's office just can't do it.
Well, Ron, thank you so much for coming on the show. I hope that you'll come by again in the future and let us know what's going on with the Hudson County Property Rights Coalition. It was an honor having you.
Mine.
Always. Out there in TV land, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Peter Biancamano back with you. Don't forget to watch us on cable access every Sunday and Monday at 9 a.m. Optimum Channel 18, Files Channel 46, and Comcast Channel 190. Also on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m., you can watch our show on our YouTube channel, and you can also binge watch all of our old shows. Who doesn't want to keep watching The Pulse with Peter B? We'll see you there.
Welcome back. I'm your host with the most, Josh Sotomayor Einstein, on this segment of The Pulse, and it is the best segment of The Pulse on this episode of The Pulse with Peter B, precisely because we are without Peter Biancamano, that bum, and I'm so honored and grateful to be joined by Lauren Myers, candidate for the council seat in Ward 6, Hoboken. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So everybody across the ward and possibly town has heard of your candidacy, and inquiring minds out there in TV land and on the internet want to know about you and how you see things. So why don't you tell everybody about your background?
Sure. So I'm a lawyer by trade. I practice general commercial litigation at a big firm in New York City. I've always been involved with my community from a young age. I worked as a volunteer in a baseball league for kids who have developmental disabilities. In high school, I interned in my local village building department. Then I went to college in the University of Michigan, and I got a BA in public policy. While I was there, I interned for politicians in the state and federal level, my state assemblywoman and Speaker of the House. After that, I went to law school. I went to Cardozo Law School, where I also continued to devote my time to helping people. I worked for Advocates for Children, which is a nonprofit that provides legal services for families who have kids with disabilities, and that's a big part of my pro bono work today. I moved to Hoboken with my husband and my dog. We were looking for a place to really settle down and grow our family. Once I moved here, Hoboken surpassed all my expectations, and I really wanted to get involved. So I am the president of my condo board. I am a member of the Hoboken Democratic Committee, and I've now thrown my hat into the race for the city council seat.
Oh, it's really, really terrific, and sounds like a lot of work in terms of volunteering for people or the special needs community, let's put it that way,
Yes.
Which is definitely very, very important. So now when it comes to the 6th Ward or town in general, what do you think, as an outsider looking in, what do you think the issues are?
Sure. So I think a couple of the key main issues is to make sure that Hoboken stays safe, clean, and affordable for everybody. So, for example, I live on Park Avenue, right across from Brant Elementary School and down the block from Autostrada, one of the most popular restaurants in the 6th Ward. And there's no stop sign on either of those corners. And I just see cars speed down the street every day. And I also drive my car, but I walk my dog multiple times a day, and I have a bicycle, and I see all the young kids going to school every day. And I think we just need to invest in that infrastructure, specifically the stop signs, to help make sure that all of our residents are kept safe. I think that relatedly goes to Church Square Park, which is also part of my ward. There is a redevelopment initiative for the park, and one of the reasons why I'm running is because I want to get involved in that initiative. I want to help make sure that Church Square Park stays a place that families can go, that young people can go, our older citizen population can go, and it just needs to be a place that's welcoming for everyone. And I'm very excited, hopefully, to get involved and help transforming the park.
Well, that all sounds very, very terrific. I know when you're talking about street safety, you know, obviously 100% agree with you when it comes to our wonderful, lovable, but absolutely insane drivers. But also some of that driving insanity has translated to not all, but some bicyclists and some of those drivers of electronic vehicles, whether electronic scooters or bicycles or things that look like motorcycles but run on electricity. And something needs to be done about them as well. That's just my little pitch, just to make sure that everybody's safe.
Exactly.
So how has the campaign been going so far?
Yeah, it's going really well. I've really started investing my time in door knocking because I'm very passionate about trying to meet as many constituents as I can to find out what's important to them, what's on top of mind, and what the key issues are that I should be addressing. I try to go a couple times a week. Last week I went with Council President Emily Jabor, so it was just a pleasure to have her there with me. Today I'm going to a block party after this on Garden between 5th and 6th. So I'm just trying to meet as many people as I can and get my name out there because it's the first time that I'm running.
Well, very nice. And how do you feel, how has the door knocking experience been?
It's great, honestly. You can tell when people can talk and when they can't talk, but when people are available and they talk, they have a lot on their mind. And I think it's important that they see that I'm investing the time to talk to them and stand at their door for 5-10 minutes and find out, you know, what's going on with you. I spoke to a single dad last week who recently got custody over his daughter, and they live right near Church Square Park. And so improving the park is a very top of mind for him. Same thing with the bicyclists who go both ways down the street. So I think I'm just learning so much about what's going on in town that way.
Now, what from your professional and volunteer experience in life is a skill that you can bring to public service?
I think most notably from my professional career is the ability to work with other people and compromise. I work, whether it's internally at my firm with teams, or it's externally with opposing counsel, or I have to advocate for my client in front of the judge. I think that I bring that experience to get a solution that everyone can be happy with while advocating for everybody's interests. And I think in terms of my volunteer work, I understand what it's like to be a young parent, an older parent, and really want everything for your kid. And I see that especially with the work I did with kids in the baseball league. Like, sports are such an important part of our community, and I think it's important that it's inclusive for everybody. And we have to make sure that those activities that really can make or break a childhood experience are available for everyone, including kids who have disabilities. So I think that I'll bring all of that if elected to City Council.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, when you're knocking on doors and when you're meeting the people, other than rats, because everyone's talking about rats,
Yes.
and they should be because they're everywhere
Yes.
in our town, and not just in our town in Jersey City, but other than rats, what's the number one issue that when you're knocking on doors, meeting voters, that they bring up?
Sure. So I think rats is a very important issue, but also the homeless shelter. I think that everyone knows what's going on nationally and especially in our region with just an increase in homelessness. And I think that we need to take a full-fledged effort to help improve the lives of people who are really struggling. And that includes working together with the county and the state, because it's not just falling on Hoboken. It's a problem that's very pervasive, unfortunately. I met with County Commissioner Romano last week, and this came up. And I think that recently the city just hired 2 social workers who have been helping, but it's a multi-prong approach, and people are concerned and they want to know what the city council is doing. And as a potential city council person, my pitch is that I'm going to work with all of the officials. I'm going to reach out to the county, I'm going to reach out to the state, and I think that my background provides me with that ability to network, negotiate, and get things done.
Well, that all sounds really, really terrific. We only got a little bit of time left,
Yep.
so in 60 seconds, why don't you give everybody out there on the internets and TV land your elevator pitch why they should vote for you?
Sure. So I think you should vote for me because I'm going to bring new ideas and real progress to Hoboken. I'm coming at this super energized, and I really want to help our community stay as great as it is and improve and be better. And I'm really excited for this opportunity. If you have any questions or want to talk to me, I am always reachable by email, hobokenlauren@gmail.com. You can check me out on Instagram or Facebook, or I have a website.
And we'll put up your website at the bottom of the screen.
Awesome.
And all the information that we talked about. Lauren, thank you so much
Thank
for
you
coming
so much
on.
for having
It's a
me.
pleasure. Out there in TV land, on the internets, thanks for watching this episode of The Pulse with Peter B. Stay tuned in next week for everything you need to know.